Hey there, it's Mr. Tush over at Global, and when I looked at the video from the last lesson talking about how to make this table here, I realized that I never discussed how to make this list. So we're going to make a list. And HTML does lists really well. And this is going to be really important because the next lesson, you're going to need to have both tables and lists, and you're going to want to be able to put some interesting lists together to be able to make your menus. So we're going to make a simple list today. Now let's take a look at the textbook on lists. And this is from W3 Schools, and lots of code for you to copy, so you can take a look at it. But there's two primary kinds of lists. You can look at them right here. I'll make this a little bit wider. I'll make this a little bit easier to see. And you can see it, make it nice and big. You have two kinds of lists. Unordered lists, which is like a bulleted list, which is items just with bullets next to them. And then you have an ordered list. An ordered list puts them in numbers. So when you take a look at this, you've got the unordered list, coffee, tea, and milk, with UL, unordered list, and line list items. And then you've got this thing over here, an ordered HTML list, and we've got an ordered list, or an OL, with different items. It's fairly straightforward. Now I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. We're going to line ourselves up for our development. I'm going to move this guy out of here, and we are going to make a new list. And I'm going to make a list of my favorite foods. And I know we have it already here, but I'm going to make it from scratch so you can see how to make it. So I'm going to take my index page over here in Sublime Text. So I'm over here in Sublime Text. I've got my image page, and you know the first thing you do is you make a copy of it. And so I'm going to do a page called Practice Lists. So I'm going to go over to File, Save As, and I'm going to call it Practice, List Practice. We'll call it List Practice. List practice.html, and I'll drop it in the middle of my site there. And of course, you'll notice that it is absolutely taking on everything, including the link to the style sheet. So I've saved it all. I don't have to worry about making this link to the style sheet. Still take the style sheet directions. And I'm going to open it over in Chrome. So open File and List Practice. And you'll notice it's exactly the same because it really is set up to be my first web page. So I'm going to change the title up here to List Practice. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to go over here and hit refresh. This is not changed at all because I haven't changed any of my body text, but it now says List Practice, so I know I'm in the right one. List Practice, List Practice, List Practice. Make sure that's good to go. And then I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to delete all this nonsense just so we can make sure that's clean. I will save it. I will refresh it, and look, we have a blank page. Blank page with the CSS that it's got a blue background. The first thing I want to do is I want to say what this page is about. So I'm going to start by putting in an H1 tag, and I'll tab it over to here. H1, and my favorite foods. And I'm going to do a /H1, and I'm going to save it. And I'm going to go over here, my favorite foods. Good. Then underneath it, I'm going to make an unordered list. And that's going to be because these go in no particular order. And to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in something that says, okay, we're going to start an unordered list, UL code. And then I'm going to, down here, you'll notice it indents for me. That's kind of a cool thing, but it'll help me read it a little bit better. And it's my favorite food, so I'm going to put in my absolute favorite food. I'm going to put in a list item, and I'm going to say dark chocolate, and I'm going to put in /, and that is my first list item. I'm going to go over here, I'm going to save it, refresh the page, and to put it in. And I've only got one there. So I'm going to put in another one. I'll do list item, and I'll add broccoli, and I'll add another list item. List item. And this list item will say, let's go with steak. And I will also, to use good technique, we'll back up and I'll go /UL, and I'll close it. Remember, I open and close the line tags, and I open and close the UL tags. Go over here and save it, and then go over to here, and those are my 3 favorite foods. So now let's take a look at how to do an ordered list. Ordered list happens exactly the same way. I'm going to go down here, I'll drop in another H1. And this one's going to be a fairly easy one to do because I'll do my favorite sports teams. And I'll go with my professional sports teams because I'm also fond of my daughter's softball team. That's because I'm their coach, one of their coaches. So we go in here and we save it, and then we go here, and there go my favorite sports professional teams. That doesn't make any sense. I have a typo. My favorite professional sports teams. When you make a mistake in what you write, you go in here, you save the file, then you refresh it, and now it makes sense. Okay, what do we do underneath it? Well, we just add a line. So let's do that right in here. And I'm going to, instead of doing an unordered list, I'm actually going to do an ordered list. And it's very comfortable with that. And then my first list item, because my favorite professional sports team in all the universe is the New York Mets. And I'm going to put in a slash, and it puts it in there. And then notice list items are the same. The list items here, it's LI. The list items down here are LI. The UL determines whether to use bullets or to use your ordered list, which will automatically use numbers. Now, I'll do LI, and then you're going to find out what a bad season I've had because I'm putting in the New York Giants. And then my third favorite is actually a minor league hockey team called the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. And that's a minor league hockey team. And I'm going to put there in here, and I'm going to save, and then I'm going to refresh the page, and there's my unordered list. And yes, you can style these. You could style the LIs in your CSS page by using the LI tag. You could style them using style for a specific thing. So if I wanted to go into my favorite professional sports teams and I wanted to put in a style tag for making it orange, I could do that. So I can style it anytime. Your job is to make a list practice page of an ordered list and an unordered list that loads properly. And when you're done with that, it's a quick 30 points. It's a fairly simple assignment. Thanks for watching.